Hi, I'm here to talk to you about the good, the bad, and the ugly of EC2 cost optimization and how NOps can help you. Let's talk about the things to consider. First of all, let's talk about reliability. I want the box up. I want instances. I don't want calls in the middle of the night. I want customer satisfaction, right? I want the system to be up. So reliability is probably king to me. Number two is flexibility. I want to be able to change my workloads. I want to be able to change different services. I want to be able to change different instances, regions, you name it. I want to be able to change, maybe even move to different clouds. I just want to have that, make sure that I have that flexibility. Number three, I don't want any commitments. Commitments to me is I barely know what I'm going to do the next hour, let alone taking an example of some of these commitments the next 26,280 hours in a row. I want no commitments, which ties to my flexibility. Number three, I want the lowest cost, right? I want low cost, and cost isn't just on the infrastructure itself, it's on the time it takes me to manage any of these different types of pricing. Okay, let's talk about our options. Well, first of all, let's start with on-demand, right? So on-demand, it's pay-as-you-go, right? That's the antenna of the cloud, right? It gives me my reliability. It gives me my flexibility. There are no commitments, right? But on the cost perspective, that's where it falls down. You're now paying list price on that type of infrastructure, right? So that's a dig. Well, let's talk about the next one, Spot. Spot, very deep discounts, gives me flexibility, but it doesn't hit my number one requirement, which is reliability, right? So I'm going to have challenges if it goes down, and I'll have interruptions. So that one is going to be a challenge. Now let's talk about the next one. So we have the RIs, right? So the reserved distance, we have two types of flavors. We have standard and convertible. Let me start with standard. So on the reliability, check, I get that. On the flexibility, I get some of it, right? So I can do it by region and by family, right? And I can buy these. However, I can change, but I have to sell it. I can sell it, assuming I pick, it's the right family. There's different strategies associated. What happens if it doesn't sell? I'm still eating that cost. So it has some flexibility, but not a lot. It's got pretty good discounts. So from a cost perspective, it's good. But from my time perspective, managing all this, it's a D. Well, let's talk about convertible. Well, convertible, it's less discounts now than my standard. I can't sell it. And it's, once again, it's just like the other one, it has a commitment associated to it. Once again, it really ties my hand in it. Now, the good news about convertibles is now, if I bought one at one type and I switched on to flexibility, I can exchange it to the newer thing, as long as it's equal to or more than that, which means sometimes there can be sort of a true-up cost associated to it, right? The other thing is, it doesn't really, from a commitment standpoint, when you do that, you're just kind of, I always call it like refinancing your loan, right? Well, let's talk about savings plans next. So I'm going to talk about the compute saving plan, the more popular one out there. Now, what this allows you to do, I got my reliability. I have some of my flexibility, right? Because this now, I make a commitment now, which it's my other one, I now have commitments. It allows me to say, I'm going to spend a dollar value per hour for the next, we'll take 3 years, and for the next 26,280 hours, right? Doesn't really give me the flexibility to change usage patterns. It gives me flexibility that I can run it anywhere in the world. I don't have to worry about, different regions and different instances, but it really ties you to a dollar value, which is a different type of math, right? And so I call, they're easy to do. However, they're very difficult to fully understand. And so once again, it doesn't meet that, all my criteria. Now, the good news is with NOps, we can now hit them all, right? And just to simplify we have a shared save program. As I explain this, There's a lot of things that you're going to have to know across that and make such decisions. But what's so great is that InOps solves these for you. Well, that sounds great. So how does it work? Well, it's very simple. Our AI monitors your usage, and leveraging some of those same mechanisms I talked before, from savings plan to RIs, right? We will basically cover your usage with those types of commitments. But here's the good news, right? It allows you the flexibility because you're no longer responsible for the commitment. So if your usage changes and you change instances, regions, hell, even leave the cloud, we buy back those commitments 100%. So who's InOps? So if you're not familiar with us, we're a free InOps platform. We totally believe that visibility and operations should be free. We spend enough in the cloud that we should be able to get the visibility and operation side of it for absolutely free. We only make money is if you leverage our automation to save money, right? And so the way it works is based off a % savings of whatever automation that you have enabled, right? We take a % of that savings. So I hope you get some value out of this thing, and then hopefully we'll be able to sign you up. Like I said, it's free to sign up, and everybody have a good day.